One of the most asked questions that we typically get is, how much does it cost to live in Fort Worth? Well, in this video, we're gonna break everything down so you don't have to wonder how much you'll be coming out of the pocket living in this area. Hey, it's Torrey McGraw, your friendly Fort Worth area realtor. And look, there's a lot on your plate when you're thinking about relocating to a new city. And if you're thinking about making Fort Worth your home, you may want to know, how much does it cost to live here? So in this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about the cost of living in Fort Worth, Texas. But let's start with the overall cost of living. Well, I relocated to the Fort Worth area just over about 17 years ago. And one of the reasons I wanted to make this area my home was because the cost of living was so darn low. So one of the first questions you may have is, how much money can I make in Fort Worth, Texas? Well, obviously that depends on your industry, your skill set, how much your job is in demand. But on average, the household salary in Fort Worth is about $65,000, which is to me a pretty good salary because that can get you a lot of things. All right, let's talk housing, because regardless of what city you're gonna move to, housing is gonna be your biggest expense. And when it comes to the median home price in Fort Worth, that's $325,000. And that's gonna get you a really good home in any area of town. You're not stuck in one portion of the city. That could be north, south, east, or west. So you have a variety of areas to choose to live within that price point. Now, of course, there are homes that are less expensive than that and more expensive. Just depends on what your budget is and what you're looking for in terms of a home when you move to Fort Worth. And if you're moving here just not quite ready to buy yet, you're still gonna be able to find a fantastic apartment in any part of the city. That's depending on what you're really looking for in amenities. It's gonna be anywhere between $1,200 and about $2,000. Okay, in terms of utilities, you're definitely gonna be interested in how much your energy bill is gonna be. Now, what's cool in the state of Texas, and of course in Fort Worth, is that the energy market is deregulated, which simply means you don't have to choose from just one provider. You have a choice of multiple energy providers within the area, which allows you to compare rates, see what plans work best for you, the length of the terms of the contract that you'll sign, and that kind of thing. So one thing that helped me when I moved here was going to a website called powertochoose.com. There you simply just enter your information in, your home address, and how much energy you think you'll be using in a month. And it's also a choice to say, I don't know. But you enter that information there, and then it'll show you a list of rates and companies to choose from. So then you can have the best plan for you. Now, your energy bill and consumption is gonna vary from month to month, from season to season, but on average, I would say you're probably gonna spend anywhere between $130 up to $200 a month, just depending on what's happening in your home. When it comes to internet service, it's something you definitely in these times need, and you want high speeds at an affordable cost. Now, here in Fort Worth, we have two companies to choose from. One is Spectrum. You also may hear them referred to as Charter Communications or Charter, and then AT&T. So depending on where you are, those are the two companies you're gonna choose from. Now, if you are buying a home, I want you to be mindful that not every home has access to internet. That's something a lot of people moving to the area may not be aware of. So if you're coming here to move, get with your realtor and make sure that you definitely know that the home that you're interested in purchasing has access to internet. But in terms of price, I have Spectrum at home, and I think I pay $75 a month. I'm getting 300 megabits per second, which is pretty good. I mean, there's some places I know that are getting 50 as the max and spending $50 a month. So certainly happy with that. Have a household of 4. Kids have been gaming, we've been streaming, and it's all worked well. So you're gonna be able to get a great product in terms of internet. Another utility you may have, and again, this is gonna depend on your area, is natural gas. Not every home is gonna have natural gas. There may be some areas, either apartments or homes that are running all on electricity and not having gas at all. But if you do have to purchase gas, you're going to be purchasing from Atmos Energy. Unlike the energy providers where you can choose from multiple companies, we don't have that when it comes to natural gas. So you're only going to be getting your natural gas from one provider. I'd say your bill is going to be anywhere from $60 to $100, just depending on how much natural gas you use. So just keep that in mind as you're looking for a place to stay. Let's talk transportation, because it's one thing I have to get across to you. And that's this: Fort Worth is a gotta have a car city. It's so spread out amongst the city itself and then surrounding suburbs, not to mention Arlington, which is close by, Dallas, which is close by, and all the activities you're probably gonna want to be a part of, you're gonna want to have a car. And when it comes to just commuting from place to place, your average commute time is probably going to be about 27 to 30 minutes. Because of so much commuting around the city, first of all, Fort Worth is a big city, but then again with the surrounding suburbs and the other major cities within the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, you're going to want to stay on top of that car maintenance. That means oil changes, tires, just your regular routine maintenance, because the last thing you want to do in a city the size of Fort Worth is have some car issues because you weren't maintaining that vehicle. So just make sure you put that in your budget so you are aware to take care of those things when they arise. And while we're mentioning commuting, one thing you need to know is you're gonna wanna invest in a toll tag. There are toll roads all over the Metroplex, including within Fort Worth proper. And depending on when you're gonna be traveling, you might run into some rush hour traffic in the morning or the afternoon, or generally just wanna take a shortcut because it's gonna save you some time. And so investing in a toll tag is gonna be critical. I have a toll tag, my wife Keela has a toll tag, and we're out and about all the time. And I'd say we spend anywhere between $25 to $30 a month on toll tag. But again, that's gonna depend on how much you commute and how much you use toll roads within the Fort Worth area. Now, if you decide to go against getting a toll tag, just note that if you take a toll road with your vehicle without a toll tag, you're gonna get a zip cash invoice in the mail, which essentially is gonna charge you for using that toll road. And it's typically about 50% higher than your cost if you had a toll tag. So if it's date night, you're thinking about a restaurant for you and your boo to enjoy, Fort Worth has something for you. Of course, now we're talking above the chain restaurant tier. We're talking really good restaurants here, but it doesn't have to break the bank. You're not gonna be out an arm and a leg for a really good meal, great ambiance for an affordable price. And if you're at one of these restaurants around Fort Worth, I'd say an appetizer is gonna run you anywhere between $10 to $15, and a drink or cocktail likely would be $7 to $15, $16, just depending on what you decide to order. And your main entree, anywhere between $20 to $30, I'd say, at a really good restaurant. So you're gonna have a great experience, great date night, full belly, and a smile on your face at the end of the night. Now, towards the beginning of this video, I referenced the housing and how amazing it is because of its affordability. But one thing that really makes Fort Worth awesome is that you have so many suburbs within the area to choose from if living in Fort Worth isn't quite what you desire. If you're considering relocating to Fort Worth, one thing that's going to be top of mind is housing affordability. And this map is outlining the housing cost of living in Fort Worth and surrounding communities, comparing it to the US average. If we go to the bottom of the map, you'll see housing cost of living. The US average is 100. And these colors show that the brighter the color becomes, the higher the housing cost of living becomes, and vice versa. So let's focus in on Fort Worth. Fort Worth's housing cost of living is 85. That's 15 points lower than the US average, and a big reason why a lot of people are reaching out to us expressing interest in relocating to Fort Worth specifically. But one thing I want you to know, that if Fort Worth turns out to not be a place you want to live in, you have a lot of options surrounding the city with all these suburbs and communities around Fort Worth. Now, some of these, as you can see, are going to be a little higher cost of living compared to Fort Worth, but also there are some that are lower housing cost of living compared to Fort Worth. So if you have any questions about affordability when it comes to housing cost of living, just reach out. So there you have it, Torrey McGraw, your friendly Fort Worth area realtor. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.